Debbie, how are you?
I'm okay. We're back with another episode, guys.
Yeah.
And Haley is chomping at the bit
Oh yeah,
here for this
can't
one
wait.
because this is very relevant to her current life.
My favourite topic.
And we're talking about, is it just us, or does sleep deprivation drive you bonkers?
We need to talk about it.
We need
We
to
need
talk
to talk
about
about
it.
it, don't we?
We
I
do.
feel. Yeah, this is like my obsession. Sleep. Why? How? And the impact it has on us.
We are
Um,
so obsessed with sleep.
yeah.
When you have a baby, I mean.
Are they
Like,
good, baby?
are they good, baby?
Are they sleeping for you?
I know.
No. Oh well, you know what you should do.
Do you know what you should try? Do you know what works? And that are you a good baby thing?
ah,
Yeah,
that's to be done away with.
they're all good babies. Like, they're not doing anything wrong. I know, but
Yeah.
do you know what? And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think we ask new mothers that as a point of conversation. Do you know,
Yeah. You
it's
don't know
like,
what else to be saying, and it's fine.
how are you? Are they sleeping?
Hmm. I've done it myself loads of times.
Yeah,
You know.
of course they're not sleeping. They're a baby.
Yeah.
And if any of you out there are listening to this and you did have babies that slept, I'm jealous
Yeah.
and Godspeed and
Yeah.
it's just a total different kettle of fish
Hmm.
when your baby has trouble sleeping. And I don't even use the phrase is a bad sleeper
Or
because
it's not trouble sleeping. It's
no it
it's actually really normal.
Yeah.
Especially in newborn infant, very early on, sleep is just and it's gonna be different for every child. But I think from word go, like you're right, I think the minute I had Jack, I was so desperate for sleep myself that I was like, I need to sleep. So I started to think about sleep like immediately because I wanted to go to sleep, but he wasn't going to sleep. And when he's going to sleep, and then I was afraid that he'd be asleep. And, there was, so immediately it's in there, like top of the list of priorities. And then it's like, well, surely by this many months, surely by the time he's 6 months, he'll sleep. Or when will he start sleeping a little bit longer through the night or whatever. And like there's a code to be cracked that I'm just not getting it, like it's my fault. And then I work with parents where they've 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds who are still coming into bed, or who can't sleep, or who are waking with, so a 3-year-old, I spoke to a lady recently, 3-year-old coming waking up and wanting to chat in the middle of the night. So it's not just babies, like it's
No, it's not. It's
Yeah.
once you become a parent and that it's just really difficult. When I had my babies first, my granny said to me, "They won't sleep till they're 4, just so you know." And I was
Oh my
like,
gosh.
"They will."
Of course they
In my
will.
own head, I was like, "Yeah, granny, whatever." Says the woman that had 5 under 5. Um, but for mine, and this may be different for you, so we're talking from personal experience here, they didn't actually sleep consistently until they were 4. Sorry, Haley.
Help.
And neither did my sisters. But since they were 4, bar sickness and something very strange going on, then it's been full night sleep. So I'm coming up on
Bliss.
5 years
Lucky
of,
you.
of sleep. I know, and you're sitting there going,
I know.
help me.
Yeah.
But it really affects your ability to function.
Well, I think it's like your ability to function, but also your ability. So, like the most common thing that I get asked, or when a parent joins a membership or they contact me for help, it's like I keep getting angry. I need help to like stop losing it. But if we look at holistically what's going on, you're stressed and then you're not sleeping, you're not rational. It affects your emotions, affects your hormones, affects your blood sugars. You crave different foods. You're up and down. It's affecting your whole like personality nearly. So then you have this expectation layered on that you'll be calm all the time, or that you're gonna bake cookies after school, and you're gonna work, and you're gonna this and gonna do that. But it's like the impact of the sleep deprivation is huge,
Yeah.
absolutely huge on your whole system and your body, but also like that on like being rational, being snappy. It's all consuming nearly. And then on top of that, every night I'm like, anxious for the night ahead.
Oh, yeah.
What are we facing?
I remember that anticipation, that anxious anticipation from once you put them to sleep for that first bit. I used to call it the first bit. Because my daughter used to wake after 40 minutes every night.
Yeah.
And we would just wait. We'd be
Here she
like,
goes then,
okay,
yeah, like
here
clockwork.
we go.
Yeah.
And then my other laddie wasn't much better. So then we tag teamed through the nights every night, depending on who felt they had more energy than the other person. But like, it's really hard because like there did come a point when my second baby was, I don't know, 4 or 5 months old, and I was broken. You know, I was so broken. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And being really honest about it, like one night I was trying to soothe him and I just couldn't, and I felt like I was like shaking him too hard, like rocking him too hard. Just shut up, like
At the end
just
of it.
shut up.
Oh, you poor thing.
Do you know? And you're just, and then you feel so bad because you're like, oh my God, this is this tiny helpless baby who is my baby, who I'm supposed to love and nurture and care for and all of that. But I had to get James, and I was just like, you have to take him from me. And I felt scared, like, because I was just like, I can't cope with this. Like, I just can't do this anymore. I cannot be awake anymore. You know that feeling when you're just like feeling physically sick as you roll out of the bed another time.
Yeah.
And I used to put on my dressing gown and traipse in and just be like, I actually feel like I'm going to vomit.
I would feel sick with the tiredness as well, and like that, where I'm like, I've nothing left in the tank yet. I know that he needs my calm. He needs my nervous system to kind of calm him. And no, I can't. I actually just can't sometimes as well. And that's the hardest thing, because you're like, I'm failing. Other people can do this. Other people have 4 under 4, and how do I do? It's all like, it really is a difficult thing to layer on top of all the other things you're already trying to do as a mum or a parent. And I think for anyone who doesn't have the tag team partner or is on their own, or their husband work or their partner works shift, or they're parenting alone by choice or not by choice, you know, there's an added, obviously huge piece there for them, that you don't have that like support or anyone to just say, oh, I'll take them, go on. And that's the reality for a lot of people.
Yeah, and if they're still waking, I don't know, would you be like this now as well? Like, I'm like, I was always reluctant to leave them with people because I'd be like, oh, they're going to be up all night.
I know, yeah.
And then you feel sorry for the person. Now in hindsight, I'd be like, fecky, it's only one night I've been up for like,
I know, yeah, I've
600 days here.
Full circle on that one. But I think the thing is, it can completely dictate you're anxious for the night ahead. Then you have the night, which feels like, I mean, the day never ended really. You're getting bits and bobs of sleep, and then it's time to get up. It's time to get up and do it all again and start the day. But you have not replenished. You've not gotten what you needed from the night.
No.
And that's really hard for me. I can get up and be in such a rotten mood. And I'm like, I don't want to be in a bad mood. I have a lot to be grateful for. Like, otherwise I'm great. But I just feel like I'm kind of angry at how the night went or didn't go, and confused. I hate not knowing why. You know that like waking after 40 minutes thing, or waking, I'm like, why is it he's waking hungry? Is he uncomfortable? Could it be teething again? Like, I start that whole, but why? And I want to know why, because I want to know what to help to do. I want to fix it. But like, I've really just this last year come to know, like, I don't know why. And I've tried this sleep consultant as well. I've tried a good few different things, and I've just gone back to the very start of like, I'm going to respond to my baby, and in time he will sleep, and I'll do my best to nap when I can, to ask for help when I can, and I'm going to have to ask for grace too, because I'm in fell form half the time, because I'm running on fumes.
Yeah.
And I get bad headaches when I'm tired.
Yeah.
So I often would have a headache and be kind of dragging myself.
Yeah.
Not every day, but you know, a lot of the time that's my kind of baseline.
Yeah.
Which is
and
not
then I
ideal.
think like Bart, like obviously me saying that about me getting so frustrated at night time is one thing, but like during the day I could manage with the baby. So I could manage with the baby because like the baby's so cute and like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they're born to be cute because that's how they form the attachment with us. That's why we love
Yeah,
them
it's
so
on
much and
purpose.
adore them so much. It's totally on purpose. Um, but then your partner gets it. If you're parenting in a partnership,
Mm-hmm.
like they are the one who you're nearly like, if they're like, if they utter a word of being tired, you're
Tired.
like,
Excuse me?
tired? What? What?
No, you're not allowed.
No, no,
No,
no.
no.
You're not allowed to say you're
Have you
tired.
been awake for a year? For a year?
For 1 year.
For 1 year? I slept 22 minutes. Like, I literally, and it does become a competition.
22 minutes a year. It does though.
No, it does,
Yeah.
because it's like, well, I only had, yeah, but I was up for work. Yeah, but am I not working?
Yeah.
Like,
And that's hard.
yeah,
Because it
you
does
don't wanna
become
go
like
there.
a battle of I'm more tired than you. How dare you say you're tired because I'm really tired and you couldn't even imagine how tired I am. And it is hard.
Yeah, I think that one, I definitely went there early on, especially when I was really fatigued. Like, it's not as bad now, but I remember my therapist actually saying, like, can you have compassion now for John? Can you have a bit of compassion? And I was like, what? And she's like, well, he is going into work, like, yeah. And I'm like, and does he work late? She said, yeah, would you? Okay. And then when he comes home, is he straight into helping and getting in and getting? Yeah, he doesn't even eat his dinner. He's putting
After
the
they
baby
go to
down.
the toilet.
After hiding the lid, I know. But yeah, it was kind of like a little sprinkle of compassion for him. Let me let go of the competition of like, well, I've been awake for a year. Like, leave it go. He's also tired. Maybe he's not as tired as me. Like, it's okay. But just that bit of compassion and just perspective really helped me not be angry about it.
Yeah, it's the anger we need to let go of,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Well,
Like,
it's
and to be fair, if we were going out to work all day, every day, and working late and doing all those things, like we would be tired too.
yeah.
And we would be feeling the strain of that. But it's hard to get that perspective when you're sleep deprived.
But that's the thing, is I'm totally irrational when I'm sleep deprived, you know, especially at the start in those first early months. Like, there was no talking to me, you know, like there was
Yeah.
no rational, like, well, he's done this, or it's not that bad. Like, it's not, it was just like, this is awful.
Yeah.
And I have to fix it. And I was very caught up in that. But look, it's all learning, you know.
No.
Have you any tales of
Well,
from the two?
do
I
you
can't
know,
imagine
when
the two.
yeah, and it just got so much harder when there was two, because then I used to definitely be like, okay, it's grand because I know he has to get off for work, and like at that time James was driving as well, and I was like, I cannot have him sleep deprived
road.
driving, you know, because
Yeah.
it's obviously so dangerous, and like that's all hard. And then when we had the two, it was really hard. And then I was so hoping that my son would be a better sleeper, and he wasn't. So then we were both up. So then it was a tag team all the time.
Okay.
And when Freddie was born, he was born in May, and my birthday was 11 days later. And James actually proposed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was just after having my second baby in the year. And it was so cute, actually. He wrote in the card from the children. It was like, we would like us all to have the same surname, so we're wondering if you would marry our daddy. It was so cute.
Oh my gosh.
So I decided, my bridesmaids decided to bring me to London in the October. So the babies were about 16 months and 4 months, we'll say. And we had such a tumultuous time. Like, I was just like, I was dead, but like that I was looking forward to going away with the girls and all of that. So we went away to get the wedding dress, and while I was away, God help poor James, but the night I was away, so I went for one night, and that night he ended up collapsing from exhaustion at home while I was in London trying to get my wedding dress, and the ambulance was called, and his mother was there, and he had, like, the baby had slid down his legs, and there was this big awful thing, and like I can look back now and laugh.
So he
Like, I
wasn't,
can.
just to clarify, he was not unwell, or like he didn't
No.
collapse with any illness. It was tiredness that collapsed him
It was
from one
exhaustion.
night.
It was exhaustion. No, but to be
Oh,
fair, it had been a build up. But at the
okay.
time, like obviously it had been a build up because we had both been awake. But at the time, I was so sleep deprived and I was so looking forward to the thing away. And I found it so hard to have any sympathy or any empathy at the time because I was just like, oh my God, like I was just
Give
gone
me a
for
not
one
one
day.
night and you're in is he
Yeah.
hospitalized?
So yeah, they took him in the ambulance and he went in and yeah, they had to look over and they just basically said, yeah, it's exhaustion.
Oh
That's
my
why.
God.
And I was like, there was so much in it. I was just like, I can't believe it happened when I was away, first of all, because I
Yeah.
wasn't around. And then I was like, what happened to my daughter? Where was she? Where was the baby? Where was everything? It was
Yeah.
just such a hullabaloo. And I was just like, oh my God. But like that, I was so devoid of anything at that point because I was so dead that I just came home and I was like, oh, right. Okay, here we go again tonight.
Yeah,
Like
and
I,
him
I just
after.
I should have been like, oh my God, you poor thing. I hope you're okay. And I just I could
No,
I
but
hadn't
forgiven
it.
for not. Like,
I hadn't it in me,
oh,
and I feel bad since like I
do you?
do.
But
But
like
at
to
the
me, it's
time, I just didn't have it in me to feel
because I knew that story. Like you've
sorry.
told me that story before, right? I love hearing it again. But I knew that story, but I've always looked at it like, oh my God, like one night, come on,
I
men or
know.
whatever. But now that I'm hearing it again, I'm like,
No,
it was a build up. He was tag teaming. It's a
it was.
cumulative process
Yeah.
where you're like accumulating the lack of sleep and you're not banking anything, and it gets on and it gets on and you get more rundown and you get more, and then it got to a breaking point
Yeah.
for him, and I
And
never looked at it that way
I just
either.
couldn't believe that it was that night that
I
it got to the
know.
breaking point.
Were
It was
you not
actually the
fuming?
evening. I knew something had happened, but the girls wouldn't tell me because we were after getting the wedding dress and we were like, we go home. And then on the plane home, they were like, so
Okay.
James had collapsed from exhaustion. And I was like, what?
He collapsed from exhaustion. Oh,
I was at the time, but
No.
now I feel more sorry for him than I
looking
did
back, it's
then.
great.
Looking
though.
back, like
yeah,
it is,
yeah.
because like he did do an awful lot of the time.
Maybe you
And,
underestimate what dads are.
Like he
Going through.
actually did, and then that October then when he had collapsed from exhaustion. Oh stop! None of them were sleeping. I was trying to plan the wedding, and then Elsie broke her foot.
Oh no!
And I was
Oh,
just
God.
like, oh my God.
When
So
was
they
the
were
wedding?
like-
was it coming up?
It was in the June. So they were like,
Okay.
keep your 17-month-old off her foot. And sure, all she wanted to
Oh,
do at
how
that
do you do
time
that?
was, so I tell you what she did. She sat in front of a screen and we, and she watched Peppa.
Peppa was her
a lot,
bestie.
because I couldn't do anything else. Your man wouldn't eat.
What could you
Your
do?
one had a broken leg. James was gone to work. He was exhausted. I was
Oh,
exhausted.
look, trenches.
Yeah. And I remember going out that Christmas with some of the girls and we had a few drinks and I just couldn't even, after a couple of drinks, I just ended up sitting there in a bawling mess.
Yeah, it all came out.
Yeah, and one of the girls she wasn't a parent at the time. She was like, pull yourself together, will you? Come on, you're on a night out. And I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
So then I had to quit the scene for a while because I was just like, I'm too tired
I
to
know.
be in this.
The going out part of it,
Yeah.
like I know.
Yeah.
It's another thing. I think that when we're talking about sleep deprivation, you think, oh, you're having a hard night and you're not sleeping. No, it's impacting my whole life because, like, in the evenings, if I wanted to go to catch a gym class or Pilates, I can't. Like, I'm literally a shell.
Yeah.
And then if I'm thinking, well, he's gone to sleep at 7:30, I probably have till 8:30. I'm not going to go to a class at 8 and come back to crying baby. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And then also when you were saying there about being out, like we don't have babysitter or anything, but when my mum and dad come home, because they live abroad, when they come back, I'd be like, why don't you guys go and get a meal? And John's like, yeah, oh my God, amazing, let's go out. We never get to do this. And I'm like, no thanks. No, I don't want to, because I'm coming back to being awake all night, and then if I have a few glasses of wine or something, the hangover hits in the middle.
In the middle of the night.
I'm like, oh, great. Like I've done it a few times where I've gone out and I might have had one glass of wine, or like maybe 2 glasses of red wine, which I now don't drink at all. I think it just doesn't agree with me since I had a baby. But I feel this heaviness coming over me, and then I'm up, and then you're like, oh, I need to be up, and I'm guilty because I had a drink, and then you're trying to care for a baby. Like, no, but it's the tiredness part that really puts me off it, because I don't want to be up late. I don't want to be getting in late when I'm going to be awake all night.
Yeah, you're always thinking about that
Always
night
thinking
ahead.
about it. Always.
And even the getting out is riddled with, but what am I coming back to?
But what am I coming back to? And like, you know, yeah, anything I'm doing really. Like, even then the naps part of it. Like, that's another thing.
Yeah.
I've gotten so like stressed about naps or not napping or a late nap or fell asleep in the buggy and I didn't notice a nap. Like, and then you're like, oh my God, devastation. What's the impact going to be here for the night ahead? Or so it creeps into different areas. And then if you're not getting out, like, then you're not socializing. So you might feel out the loop with your friends. My pals all went to the cinema the other night and I was like, I'm not going. I have a headache. I'm falling apart. I need to go to bed.
I'm sorry for laughing. I'm falling apart.
Falling apart here. No, I actually, that night I was really needed to go to sleep. But then I really wanted to go. It's only the cinema. Like, I'm like, should I push myself to go? But I don't. Like, you know, so I'm always in that kind of spot lately of like,
shouldn't I?
I'm losing out on the connection. That's really important. So it's kind of creeping into that as well.
I always thought I should have put myself to bed earlier than I did.
Yeah.
But you mentioned before about the revenge procrastination of bedtime where you just felt like I needed some time to myself. But if anyone is listening and they do have a small baby, you know, a good thing that definitely worked when we did it, especially when we had one, was that I would go to bed at 8, we'll say, and James would do that last feed. Now that's if you're bottle feeding.
See, I'm breastfeeding still.
Yeah, so that only works
unfortunately,
unless
like,
you
I've
can
been trying to
express
get
a
out.
bottle for that one, and then you might get from 8 until 2 or 8 until 3, and you're like, oh, I'm refreshed after that one. But that's only if you
I did that when he was
eaten.
littler, and he does take a bottle and stuff, and we would give bottles sometimes, but it's hard. I think it's like it's ever changing. Like, I was all set to wean him from the boob, and then he got a vomiting bug, and then I got the vomiting bug, and then he started teething. I'm like, okay, I'll do it next month. Or you know, like, there's been times I'm like, oh well, if you give the last bottle, I'm gonna go do this, and then something happens and it doesn't. It's so unpredictable. I think that's one thing as well that I struggle with. Like, we like certainty and predictability and routine ourselves as humans. We want to kind of know what's coming, and you just don't know what they're going to do. Of an evening or a nap. Like yesterday, there was no nap. There was no morning nap, and I thought, well, maybe he's starting to drop a morning nap or something. He seemed fine, and then when it came to the afternoon nap, there was also no afternoon. And I had to go, so I ended up kind of leaving him with my mum and being all flustered and really like, it's bad for his development. Like, he's not getting enough sleep, and what's going on with him? The cogs just won't stop with the sleep thing.
Again and again, and then you're also exhausted still on top of that.
Exhausted.
Like exhausted. And then you're trying to work and be and have friendships and life and cook dinners and do all of these types of things, and everything is a huge percent more difficult.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah, the sleep deprivation literally affected my personality.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't the same person.
No. And I
all.
feel like, you know, the certain amount of the matrescence process that's going to happen a little bit anyway, or a partner might feel, oh, she's different. Like, our relationships change. There's so much change anyway. And then you layer in this factor of just like, I'm not myself over this.
No.
And I can't see an end in sight. I don't know. I've asked for help. I'm looking at help. Usually if I research something, I figure it out, and I will crack that.
I'll crack that.
I will find out what to do, and I will fix it. But this isn't one of those things. So there's like total like, having to let go of it. And I think that's the most helpful thing for me lately. I had sought help with a sleep consultant, and it just wasn't for us. The suggestions made work for some people, work so well. They're really gentle, they were nice, it just didn't feel right. It's just not for me, maybe yet. So I decided not to put in place that plan. And I've kind of, since I've done that, I took action. I got expert help, and I've come back around to I'm just going to go with my own, and I need to let go of this obsession around sleep.
Yeah.
And instead, maybe like prioritize getting to bed a bit earlier, put down my phone, not be doing the revenge bedtime procrastination thing. Read before bed, that definitely helps me sleep better and stuff. And if I can take a nap, I'm taking it, and the house can stay. You know, I'm kind of going back to that, the stuff that everyone tells you when you first have a baby. Leave the house, go, and, you know, don't worry now, and look after yourself, take a nap, sleep in the baby sleeps. That seems to be acceptable until they're a certain age, and then it's like, be a big girl, get up and go.
Big girl pants on,
get back to work and all that. Now I'm kind of going back to that, like, no, I will have a nap in the morning if I can. I will just say, like, I need to go to bed early or whatever. That's all I can do, because I'm not able to control the situation, and like, this too shall pass. I'm trying to remind myself of that as well.
But I think a good thing to come back to there, and it's exactly what you did too, as a mother, particularly if you're listening to this, you need to follow your gut. Your gut is going to tell you a lot. And if you do seek out advice or help with anything, sleep related or otherwise, and you're going, this feels a bit funny, this doesn't, I'm not sure, then you need to think about that, because if it feels funny for you, our guts are really strong, and in relation to our children particularly, I think. So you don't have to go along with what someone says if it doesn't feel right for your baby.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, I think, especially in the sleep world, in all of the parenting, but in the sleep world, there's just like, God, there's so many different opinions, and cried out, and this method, Ferber method, and the moving chair method, and the disappearing door, or whatever. I don't know what they are, but there's so many of them. I've looked at them all, like, I've tried to look at them, you know, and there's a lot of content, I feel, online. You know, my algorithms show me tons of different approaches and things, but yeah, my gut is very strong on
the connective
on that particular, like, there's some things where I don't know if I can tune into my gut as well, because I'm overwhelmed or something, but with the sleep thing and how I want to respond at night, that's coming through pretty strong, so I'm just gonna go with it. I don't know where it'll bring me. I'll be
I know
staggering around. No, it is improving a little bit, in fairness, as he gets older. I feel like when he gets moving now and he's walking, it'll probably, and then there'll be crap nights and he'll be sick, and, you know, I'm always going to have them. I kind of just have to accept. You know, I went to a toddler group there recently, and we'd had like a really, really hard night because he was kind of sick, and there was a couple of moms, so lovely, and we were all sitting in a little circle and the babies were playing, and like, I didn't know, there was one girl I knew, and they were all like, yeah, what's your name, and and how old is Jack, and and how are you? And I was like, yeah, good, we didn't sleep last night. I was waking every 40 minutes. That was my line. I was like, anyone who'd listen
I need
to me,
everyone to know.
Hello, 40 minutes, I win. But like, mine was not a tale of woe. Like, everyone there in that little circle was like, oh, I have a 5-year-old, and he was up talking to me, and then he said he had a dream, and sure, he's still in with us. And no, this one here started the day at 4:30, didn't you? And there's a 3-year-old going, hello. Like, every single one of those moms in that little group, in that little circle, had been woken up that night, and a lot of them had more than one child, and one had woke the other, or one had been up and then the other one went down, or something like that. So all of a sudden I was like, oh, it's not just me, I'm not doing anything wrong, and this is going to continue. Like, you know,
did you feel
most
better?
Likely I felt better.
Did you genuinely?
I really did. Yeah. I remember saying to John, guess what, there was these ladies in this group and their babies don't sleep either, and some of them have like an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and like, they sleep sometimes, but they also start the day really early sometimes too, because Jack will start at 5 sometimes, even though he hasn't gone, I feel like he hasn't had much sleep, but he wants to get up, so he's off. But, you know, there was a lot of just normalising that for me, and then them going, oh yeah, that's kind of standard.
Yeah, those 5 o'clock starts and the 4:30 starts, I remember them.
Oh yeah,
they're tough going. By 10 o'clock you're eating your dinner. like, I have the dinner made. Honest to God. You had
That
like
is literally
3
like,
meals. You're like,
making a
okay,
sandwich.
honestly, we've played, we've had a nap, we've been in the thing, we've done all the things, and it's fucking 7 o'clock in the morning.
No, literally. And like, I've done sensory play, I've sang. We've also had chill out
Got our
time.
rhythm. Rhythm is regulating.
We've had a nap. We've done this, and it's like, yeah, it's 10 a.m.
I
and
know.
I'm like, curry and rice.
I know.
It's like, what?
It's mad.
Or like I said to John the other night, I was actually the other day, I think he'd come home from work like for lunch, and it was maybe 2 o'clock, and I was like, God, it feels like 3 o'clock in the morning or something. I felt like it felt really late or something. Oh,
stop.
look, if you can't laugh, what can you
No.
do?
And it's weird, I think, at this time of the year as well, because it's so dark all the time, and it like feels like the middle of
Yeah.
the night half the
You
time.
don't know what you're
And
at.
you're
I
like,
know.
Am I up? I'm up, then I'm down, I'm
Yeah.
in, then I'm out. You don't know which way you
Oh my
are.
gosh, so funny.
But yeah, this has been fun.
This is, look, it's one of those
I
ones
hope
you
you've
just have to
found it
laugh at.
cathartic to get out
Yeah,
the
I
woes
have.
of the
And I
sleep
just think,
deprivation.
Like, yeah, I'm personally letting go of this sleep thing and just going with it.
I think
rolling with it.
like that is a key piece to this though.
Mm,
Like if you're finding it really difficult, I wish I was able to do that and just go, this is the way it is. I can accept that to some extent. How can I navigate it if this is the way that it is?
yeah, and on the really hard days or on the really tough moments, I'm gonna make a priority or a choice out of just resting.
Mm-hmm. And then
That's
if you
not something that
are
comes naturally to me.
parenting in a partnership, and they don't, they're off certain days or weekends, can you take that as a bit of a reset as well, and stay in bed on a Saturday morning
Yeah,
or get a bit of a rest?
the
in,
weekends
like,
are a
they're,
saviour for me.
that can really, really help because
Yeah.
you just don't feel as worn out by the
Yeah.
time Monday comes around again.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks so much for listening to this one, guys.
Thanks, guys.
And Godspeed with the sleep.
And in solidarity for anyone who didn't sleep well last night.
I know, because it's really difficult.
Yeah.
If you have any funny stories or you want to contact us in about any of your
Oh,
sleep
yeah.
woes, please
should
do.
start doing that.
We'd love to read some out.
Tell us it's not just us, will you? And send us some on any topic, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So it's isitjustuspod@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you then. Thanks.